live stream. Ivan and I are going to talk about the market, about recent events, strategies and stocks we like, how our portfolio is doing, and we have a juicy one. As you probably know, if you're not living on the Earth or maybe on Mars, we have we have had the largest IPO last week on Friday, SpaceX. And we're going to cover SpaceX a little bit on this one. But before we do that, I have some market updates for myself. I have slowly started transition into more traditional stocks. What I'm looking at and researching now is I'm going to stay in AI infrastructure, which I already invested in, SMCI, CoreWave, and Iron. I'm probably going to stay there, have a little bit of Amazon because I love Amazon. And for the rest, I'll do a couple of things. I will look at dividend stocks and invest there and maybe sell options on those. And the second thing might be interesting for you too. On the last live streams, and you can probably see the evolution of what we're speaking about, we spoke about robotics and AI phases. And the first phase was chips, then infrastructure and energy. Then it was parts for or hardware, or no, sorry, it was software that benefits the revolution, like Palantir, for example, the most famous one. And then it's the hardware, robotics, and so on. So first update is the robot strategy is doing very well. I think it's just gonna go up. I think it's still a good buy. That's first. Second, if you still wanna buy early, look for undervalued software companies. What do I mean by that? I mean that software is not code and software is not engineers. Software is a product that solves a problem. And I think there are a couple of companies that are undervalued right now in the market. And I've been researching that a little bit last week or so. And I think the maybe companies that have dropped because Anthropic is eating the industry, I think these are fake drops. I think those companies are going to benefit a lot. They are going to fire people. Probably they're going to have major deductions in human capital. But when it comes to their data, when it comes to the knowledge that the LLM can utilize, that is a huge IP. And when it comes to cost, they're going to lower costs and they're going to be increasingly profitable. So I will cover a few of those here. What do you think about that theory, Ivan?
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what companies are you looking at, because the danger is like not that the companies are not providing value with a real solution to the problem, but that companies that buy it can easily produce their own solution, right? How do you think about that?
I will be very picky, and on this call, I will probably talk about just one that I will invest in, and I'll let me tell you a story about this one.
Okay.
And it is a pretty interesting one. You got private equity companies that go out and acquire, let's say, all roofers or HVAC companies or landscaping companies in the US, and those are big, right? But those are private equity companies that compete with each other because they have a limited amount of money. Oh, my camera dropped for some reason. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, one
But
second.
we cannot see you anymore.
What the hell? Let me check. Sorry for that. No, my laptop camera is not working.
Interesting.
Let me fix it 1 second. Let me rejoin 1 second.
Yep.
All right, now it's good.
You're
I don't
back.
know what happened here, but what I was talking about is those private equity companies. They don't have enough money to acquire everything, and they are competing with each other. Now, usually they go into industries that I understand, pretty simple companies, pretty simple industries. But there is one company that I like the most that is not really private equity, but a private fund, and it directly buys equities in companies that have a huge moat. And it buys software companies. So software will not go away. Software will be increasingly used in our everyday life. And there are just going to be more use cases that have been too expensive to develop. And the code will not matter. What will matter that it works and that a lot of people can use it and that there is a moat. So this company, which I will show you now, goes out there, that it has 9 groups, 9 funds. Each fund is focused on acquiring or stakes in companies that have a moat where nobody can compete with them. And in the US and the Western world, there are just a couple of companies that can do that because they know the owners, they go out there and they themselves have a moat, and they're called Constellation Software. Now, you don't know exactly what they do because they have 9 groups and have acquired over 1,100 businesses. And the guy who is leading it I read about him, pretty genius entrepreneur. So I would like to bet on this. I recommend you, if you want, send us a message in Discord. I will send you a link on YouTube and a couple of links that you can read about this company. But you can see based on the description, just on the beginning, mission critical software and service solutions for the public sector, healthcare, utilities, private sector, insurance market globally. What does it mean? It means that mission critical software is irreplaceable software for the public sector, healthcare, and so on. Public sector, once you get into public sector and you buy something from them, or they buy from you, and they implement this across the whole, let's say, Canada or US, it's very difficult for them to change that. And they have really good money and they pay for the service, they pay for maintenance, they pay for updates, and so on. So I didn't go into detail which portfolio and all the companies, but you can check the website, you can scrape it, you can go in detail. I think what they have done with 1,100 businesses is unique. And even if most of them fail, which I don't think they will, because this fund is going to have a monopoly. If you look at their financials also, they're growing 30% or so per year based on what I found. I think in next 10 years, they're going to be kind of like one of the best funds that you would imagine, but just for software. So if you want to look at the stock price, you're going to see that it's a pretty good level to buy. And you can cover call on it, but I think I'm just going to buy and hold. It's a Canadian market.
I'm taking a look right now. I've never heard about this company before.
They talk about it as if it's some kind of mysterious company. Nobody knows what it does, but they're just quietly acquiring on the private market, private companies. So companies they acquire, you cannot buy shares of them. Similar like RoboStrategy. RoboStrategy acquires shares in companies that are about to go public in 5 years or so. But if you invest in them in 5 years, they're going to be so much more valuable than they are today. But today they're not sharing stock, they're not selling their shares. So you can just buy a company that owns the shares, as if you wanted to buy Anthropic. Amazon owns 20%, I think, of Anthropic or something. Google owns some shares of Anthropic. So you would buy Google and Amazon instead of buying Anthropic, because Anthropic is not being traded on public market. Same way you would buy companies that Constellation is buying. You cannot. They are not on private market. You need to know the owner. They need to accept to give you the shares. There needs to be good reason for them to sell you shares, because they probably can choose who they want as a partner. But these guys in Constellation have an ecosystem. They know what they're doing. People would accept to sell them shares to become the part of an ecosystem, and then you become a part of the whole portfolio, and you can grow with them. And you can
How do
see.
how do you determine here that this is a good value play? Like, how do you know now it's undervalued versus overvalued? Do you look at PE or just the charts, or?
Similar to robo strategy, of course I'm going to still do some research, but here's what I'm thinking. If the software is going to be the center of the world, they have 1,100 companies. If just two of them become ginormous, they're going to be valued more than 60 billion.
Interesting.
Of course, this is something I will still think about and look at. I will do my research. I will probably never do good enough research, but for me, it's enough to check who is the owner, and who are they're investing in. So I watched a YouTube video. I can send it to you, and it was impressive to hear.
Do you know why did they drop recently so low and like
No
below
idea.
the 200 moving averages?
No idea. No.
Um, Sounds very interesting. Okay, what else do you got for us, Luca?
Yeah, they have dropped because of fear of AI disrupting the software
I see.
industry. And if you look at who is Mark Leonard, who is the CEO, you'll see that he, as a young guy, affected European Council. He is a billionaire, already built companies. And what attracted me, he's compared to Warren Buffett because of buy and hold strategy. He buys those software companies the same way Warren Buffett buys physical, let's say hardware or services that are not software, because he doesn't want to get into something he doesn't understand. The same way this guy Mark Leonard buys stakes in software companies and then grows them. And some of the deals I heard are similar to, hey, 10% for $1 million. He buys 10% for $1 million, and then instead of investing $1 million into whatever, some treasuries where he gets 4%, he every year grows that company for 20-30%, gets his money back very quickly, and then the rest is equity play and huge dividends for the fund, where he can buy the next one and next one and next one. So it's pretty interesting.
Cool. Thanks for sharing.
But the same concept is for other companies that you might already know of. If they have a large database, I think a huge move here would be figuring out which companies have large databases that they still not utilizing for AI, and then figuring out who they are and if you can invest in them early.
Yeah, I mean, also the moat, as you mentioned, is quite interesting thing now in the world of AI. For example, Uber, like you can easily copy the app of Uber, but because they have a huge marketplace and trust of people, and people have experienced a trusted driver coming and picking them up, like no one will just build a new Uber, right? They might build robo taxis, but there's no point of tackling Uber anymore because they kind of have a moat, right?
Yep.
So I think these kind of companies are interesting. That there's just no point of building something new, even though it might be easy to build it.
And also, if you look at the logical perspective, it's difficult for me to believe that all the software as a service companies are just going to drop and disappear.
Yeah.
All of them have very smart people, just like you and I are smart, and they all understand what is AI. They all understand they can now build faster. They all understand it needs to be better product, and they will just do it. And they just won't shut down the business and leave because AI is there. They're all going to fight, and most of them are going to survive and just be more profitable because of it.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool part about software is that the economics, like for every single person to build their own thing, let's say they have their own AI agent and their AI agent builds this stuff just for them, it will take them a lot of money to just pay the servers, for example, or pay that AI, or uh, they'll have an enormous cost to maintain their own SaaS businesses. But because SaaS business has a lot of users, they can share and distribute that cost and provide it as a fraction of the cost of for the same service. So I think this kind of model will not disappear just because of the unit economics. Yeah, it's gonna be like I don't want to maintain Stripe for myself, for example. I'll just
Yep.
rather pay them, uh, and I know that someone is taking care of it. I know it's gonna be up all the time. I have to pay for their servers, the fees, whatever. So I think this kind of model will stay alive.
Yep. I agree. All right. What do you have when it comes to SpaceX?
SpaceX, yeah, very exciting stock. I can share what I was trading a little bit for the past few days. Let me just go straight into the screen. As you guys know, right now the float is very low. Basically, I think 4% of the shares. So the stock is going up quite a lot because it's purely people who are very excited about it, just buying and buying more shares, and like big people, big institutions who will probably be selling and capitalizing on the investments that they've been holding for 25 years. They are not selling yet. I think they're either not allowed to, or they would pay high fees and penalties. Um, it's just that it's very interesting this kind of price discovery in um, the early trading stages. I think if you just took the 1 minute chart and just looked at the RSI, it was good enough yesterday to make a lot of profits. So basically, whenever RSI shot up to this level, like 80, you could just short the stock. Like this, look at this, all of these tops, you can just short it every single time. The same thing when it just from that short, when the RSI dropped, I don't know, below 40, you can just take profits, and that was like you could have made a lot of money just shorting and buying based on RSI yesterday. It was super easy. But then from today, we have options trading on SpaceX, and now this is a whole new game. As you can see, the volume increased. The price action is also labeled. It only works on the fresh IPOs.
Hmm.
Uh, all right, on the kind of value, I think now SpaceX in these ranges it was more valued than Microsoft, um, which is kind of crazy to me. I know that like, in their IPO they mentioned they're gonna mine gold from space, basically from asteroids and stuff, which is yeah, a great idea. But I think it's gonna take some time until we get there. So I think at some point this will have to start trading somewhat reasonably. They at this kind of valuation is just crazy high, even though it might make the biggest company in the future. So what I'm looking at is with options. By the way, first of I would look at the GEX. Right now, GEX is still not available. I think it should come up sometime today on QuantWheel. So I would first look at that, see where the levels are. But I can kind of approximate them by just looking at the options chain and the open interest. So what I'm looking at here right now is credits and debit spreads. Um, why not just pure options? Just because they're super expensive at the moment, and you would need to have huge moves um, to make any kind of profit. What like Yes, I will be doing pure options in the future once the float increases and we can get those big moves. But right now, um, yeah, I don't think like buying puts is smart just because it's gonna take some time for the sellers to come into the market. Um, yeah, Luca, any comments on SpaceX so far? I'll share a few like spread strategies that I'm doing right now. But yeah, what do you think about it?
I think it would be interesting to see the price of gold if they manage to mine asteroids.
Yeah,
I think that will be possible, and I think they are going to do it. I don't know how they're going to move it to Earth, what's going to happen with gold, but I think gold is just like any other metal. It should be a resource to build with, not a reserve of currency, because for me it never made sense. But it was useful before, but I think that will end sooner or later. They're going to mine the asteroids. Second thing, it's crazy that it's as valuable as Microsoft. For me, that's ridiculous. Some people say it's going to get to 5, 10, 20, 30 trillion in value. Maybe if SpaceX is the only company that is mining asteroids in the world, and then it might be the almost only company in the world, because then all the companies that mine or drop in value, all the companies that with data centers, all the companies with energy, anything that is out there is basically not safe. SpaceX can compete with almost every industry, even telecom. So it has potential. Is it valuable right now? There, no, but the market trades on expectations. Would I invest in it? Probably not. I think the IPO at 135 was a good time, but not anymore.
yeah. I also would be investing at much lower prices, probably around 80. I would start adding. I mean, just think about this. It's like people have invested in a lot lower prices than the IPO price, around 130. Let's say they've invested at $40 a share in the past. They have obviously the investors, the VCs, they have a lot of shares, so um, they don't have to sell everything. They can still like basically be invested. But if their shares went from 400, sorry, from 40 to 200, they can share 80% of their shares, keep the exposure for free, and still make a ton of profit and show they're like
Yeah.
uh, investors that they've made money, and they can start reinvesting it into other companies and just keep their business going. So I think it just makes so much sense for all the investors that have been investing to dump their shares as soon as they can, at these prices right here, right? So I'm not that afraid of even shorting Tesla because
You mean SpaceX?
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like unless there is a short squeeze, um, like it will be very surprising for this to go to 10 trillion this year. That would be just unrealistic, right? So like the biggest problem with shorting something is the unexpected short squeezes, but I think it's very difficult for it to happen in
But
SpaceX.
let's talk about how the world works if they manage to mine asteroids in the
Yeah,
next 5 years. So until 2030,
yep,
they manage to mine asteroids. They also have data centers in the space. I think they already have. They sold them to Anthropic. They have unlimited energy because of solar, basically. So the only thing that is left for them is to build capacity and build more. If that is true in 5 years, huge there will be huge unemployment. But it's same with AI. Like if the future comes true, huge unemployment, a lot of huge companies dropping shares because they're useless. Like it's gonna be chaos because it's too short of a time span, And also, if they manage to do this in just 4 or 5 years, that's gonna be incredibly impressive. Then you might say, it's you might say who would have expected, and then SpaceX might be same way as Anthropic strategic resource of the US, and who knows what will happen with the company then, because it's like the only company in the world by far who can do that in next 4 years. I don't think anybody else will do it. So what I'm saying is, can you imagine that? Even if that happens, there will be so many other consequences that it's unimaginable to me. It's maybe a hedge against the future to invest in this company.
Yeah, that's a good point. And do you think we are far away from this like future? Is it technically possible to shoot up many satellites in the orbit, get the sun's energy, uh, basically
Well,
then solving the energy problem?
well, I don't think they can solve the energy problem in space. What they could do is shoot data centers in space, and data centers get the energy in space, but they never get to the Earth, because I don't know how they would transfer the energy to the Earth from satellite. Maybe I'm not as smart, but even if they move all the data centers in space, that's basically that's huge. That's a big chunk of world's energy and future energy. I think they can do it in next 5 years. They can do it. Maybe not mine asteroids, but shoot satellites and data centers in space. I think they're gonna be leading this industry in the next 2 years, 2 3 years, with data centers and energy.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I'm thinking out loud. Probably just you could shoot up a laser from the space back to Earth. But yeah, as you mentioned, if the most valuable use of energy is in the data center and like AI inference, then yeah, just do it there and send the results back to Earth with
And
communication.
I know you remember probably when we were younger, SpaceX was talking about how many satellites they would need in space to be able to become profitable, and it sounded impossible. And now they have half of all satellites in the world, and half of them are theirs. They can just keep shooting satellites, but with solar panels and data centers, and have another 25% more of satellites, and completely dominate the data center and energy for data centers too. I think that's possible.
Yep, that's a great point. All right. So maybe I can just show my strategy with spreads and QuantWheel Intelligence on something else like SanDisk before we get the actual gex on SpaceX. Okay, it's been dropping aggressively in the past hour or so. We should probably take a look what's going on. Oh yeah, okay, great. It has hit my trend line. That's why. But yeah, it was kind of my target to sell call spreads from two $2,200 to $2,300. And how do we get there? I just paste a prompt into QuantWheel Intelligence. I can quickly show you that. Whoop, let's go. Yeah, so I can just tell him to analyze Gex, Vanna, Charm, and for SanDisk for this week, and tell him to like give me the options plays, and they're just gonna go ahead and do it.
Oh wow, it's so fast.
Yeah, it's fast. It's loading, analyzing, shows you the charts, shows you the put walls, call walls. Same for also uh, Vanna and Charm, and boom, it gives you the suggestions. So we're still in strongly positive gamma environment, and now it's telling you to also consider 2100, 2150 call spread, because probably they are sitting on the between the call walls. It's also gonna take a look how Vanna and Charm affect the future prices, and give you the recommendation. Okay, now it's considering kind of this
Ivan,
spread. Go ahead.
this is so cool. I think I can see. So, guys, for anybody watching, we discussed this since the first day we started QuantWheel, that we should have robots trading. Now, you've probably seen robots trading, but I bet those robots don't have the data and expertise we have. And I bet they would be extremely, like, much more successful than some random guy's robot that he built. And we're finishing up some features and polishes, and after that we're going to focus on these cool growth features that are going to become popular, I think, and people are going to love watching. Imagine a QW intelligence trading those trades, taking those trades. That would be extremely interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. Because
How's
it
your
can just
portfolio
process so
doing?
much data at once. Like it would take me, I don't know, 10 minutes to look at all these charts, and this just analyzes it immediately. I mean, because you saw it live here.
Yep.
And I was, as you can see, I was testing it out recently, and placed trades on it. I think it had 100% success rate, both on SPX and
Wow.
SanDisk. So I think it also managed to convince me to not place some trades that I was looking at, which also saved me money. That was surprising to me. But yeah, very interesting.
All right. How's your portfolio? Is everything going well?
Yeah, it's been a good feeling being able to withdraw cash and kind of maintain that balance. So I've been doing that for the past few months.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, every time it kind of surprises me to see the drop in the value, but then I realize, oh, actually, I did the withdrawal. So I never know when are they going to show it on the chart.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, and did you check your break-even prices? What's your best break-even where you are completely profitable, whatever you do, basically?
yes, we actually have a new screen coming out, most likely today, with the new results screen that's showing me my best plays for the week, for the month. And yeah, right now, um, I think core wave is 100% for me.
Nice.
Whatever I did in core wave, I just it was just, I don't know, I was lucky, I guess. It was so volatile that whatever I did, I would
Same with
capture
me.
all the gains. Um,
My break-even in core wave is 84.
84.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, today I just exit all of my positions. It had a huge spike, so I closed it up. I'm trying to release more and more capital, and I'm opposite of you. I'm thinking, what if I just try this? Like, have QuantWheel Intelligence as my AI sidekick, and I try to do day trading. Um,
Oh,
have also options flows on SPX. I've been doing pretty well with that recently, and QuantWheel Intelligence gives me great spreads. So I'm trying to see, hey, can I use that, like my current knowledge of income generation, but fund it from the day trading.
if you
Yeah,
manage, that'll be viral, I think. If you manage to do it, that'll be incredible.
yeah.
And I
So
think
we'll,
you should not only, okay, Quantul is great, but that knowledge that you have, if you manage to do it, is also crazy IP.
yeah. So we have one thing in the works that everyone's been asking about. We got so many requests of, hey, can you guys maybe do TradingView with Gex? And because no one else did it, and the answer is yes, we will be releasing it very soon. And I think that's gonna be my setup as well for day trading: QuantWheel plus TradingView plus AI, and yeah, I'm excited to see how far it can go. I think it's the best if like you just use the software every single day and see, okay, does it actually work? So,
Yeah. Very well. Good. Is that it for this one?
yeah, I think it was good to hear a perspective on SpaceX. Now I'm not that bearish on it as I initially was. I'm starting to think that the future is not that far away. Like that, all the technical stuff. Like it only requires enough belief that it's possible to get enough people, smart people together, capable people together to actually do it,
Yeah.
and enough capital. So I think we might be there.
Yeah, I don't know if you read, but it already sold Anthropic data centers in space for 12 billion recently, a month or 2 months ago.
Interesting.
So they already generate revenue from this income stream. So that's not far away. And it's difficult for me to believe that it's so complex to do this if you already are sending satellites every day to now just attach solar panels and data centers. I don't think that's that difficult for them. And I think they're just going to dominate. I think that valuation is the future. It still is not valuable 1.75, 2 trillion, whatever, but it will be in the next 1 or 2 years, I think. So, or 2 or 3.
Yeah, I think now it's already 2.7 or something. Yeah, 2.75.
So is Elon Musk now almost 2 trillion? 2
Yeah,
trillion.
it's crazy, right? Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Oh my. Imagine he sells everything he owns. What the fuck can he do? He has like, he's got what, 10% of America's GDP or what? Imagine one guy. Jesus.
Imagine he does build like a yacht for space, shoots it up, has solar energy, and just says, "See ya, guys,
But like,
sell
this is too
everything.
much
I'm
for me.
done."
Yeah. Jesus. All right.
Cool. Must
I
be late
think
for
he
you,
would
Luca.
do it, by the way. He would like the idea.
Yeah.
At least he would laugh and entertain it. But
Maybe we should try to IPO the space yacht idea.
space yacht.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Cool.